Hi, and good morning. Listen, first I want to say that I started with day one when it was actually day two, so you'll see that today becomes day four, and it looks like I skipped a day, but just I was silly enough to not count Sunday as our first day that we prayed this together. So just an explanation about the title there. If we didn't miss a day, I just counted wrong. Yesterday I talked to you about the diversity racially of God's world as we try to think through this prayer together of praying that God would help us to see people the way He sees them and to break our heart for the things that break His heart. Today I want to talk to you about the economic diversity or the great division between the haves and the have-nots. Here are some figures to consider today. The average American, the latest numbers I could find, the average American makes $38,611 annually, which is $105 a day. And that represents about, if you just take the American population, that represents about 4.5% of the world. Now listen to these other numbers. There are 2.6 billion people who make less than $2 a day. And that represents 40% of the world's population, less than $2 a day. And then there are 1 billion people that make less than $1 a day. 1 billion people, 15% of the folks on the planet, that make less than $1 a day. Now, think about this with me. The top 1,100 billionaires in our world have half of the wealth of the world. So just 1,100 people have half the wealth of the world. And the poorest 40% of the world's population accounts for just 5% of the global income. And then finally, the top 20% of the world's population consumes 86% of the world's goods. So when we think about our world and not only the racial diversity of it, but also the fact that there are haves and have-nots. And as Americans, we certainly fall in that first category of the haves. So I thought I'd close with this. Mark chapter 12, Jesus sat down near the collection box of the temple. Then he watched as the crowds dropped in their money. Many rich people put in large amounts. Then a poor widow came and dropped in 2 small coins. Jesus called the disciples to him and said, I tell you the truth, this poor widow has given more than all of the others who are making contributions. For they gave a tiny part of their surplus. But she, poor as she is, has given everything that she had to live on. God, today, help us to see people as you see them. And help us, help our hearts to break the things that break your heart.